So we talk a lot about similar districts. When we compare our districts, we try to compare our district to districts that are most like us. So if you look at our similar district grouping, you look down through, you see many districts that you're probably familiar with in Ohio. Mason, Dublin, of course Dublin's next door, Centerville, Hudson would be the elite school up in the Akron-Canton area. Dakota, of course, is down around Cincinnati, New Albany, Upper Arlington. All these schools, and I'm not going to go over all of them, but all these schools are known for having great, great academic programs. Sycamore, for example, number 19 on that list, actually has the highest performance index of any school district in the state of Ohio. So we are compared against some of the best in Ohio, and of course we think we are one of the best in Ohio. Now, what does make us similar? That's usually the question I get. The first thing I want to talk about is what doesn't make us similar. And if you look at our average daily membership or how many students we have, that's the thing that doesn't make us similar. In fact, you're going to hear me come back to that time after time after time, because we do something at Olentangy that no one else does in Ohio, and very few actually do in the United States, and that's grow. And we grow at a rate that people, it's almost unheard of, in fact, at the rate we're growing. In fact, for 8 consecutive years, we've been the fastest growing school district in the state of Ohio, growing at roughly 1,000 students per year. The average school district in Ohio last year grew at negative 58 students. So that gives you some idea. Closest one to us would be Mason at around 300. So we are growing, and we continue to grow. We're now the 8th largest school district in the state of Ohio. Probably next year, I would say, we'll be 7. And I grew up in the schools, public schools in the 70s, and there was always talk about the grade 8, the urban 8. The Columbuses and the Toledos and the Clevelands and the Daytons and the Cantons and Akrons and Cincinnatis. We are now larger than some of the grade 8s, specifically Youngstown and Dayton, and we're probably going to be passing Canton and even potentially Akron pretty soon with the kind of growth that we have. So that's something that doesn't make us similar. I think we've done a great job as a school district advertising the fact that we grow all the time, because I think as people move in and once they get here, they hear this same thing. We grow. When you move to Olentangy, a couple things are going to happen. They're probably going to grow at around 1,000. You're probably or potentially going to get redistricted depending on what neighborhood you move into. And they're probably going to have tax levies on the ballot because of their growth. Now, people often hear the first two. We grow and we build buildings, but oftentimes they don't hear that last one, tax levy, because a lot of people that I talk to actually thinks our tax levies come in 3 and 4 year cycles due to the fact that we just give out all these big raises, and that's not the case whatsoever. In fact, we'll get into that, average teacher salary. The main thing that's driving this levy cycle in this school district would be our growth. I'll talk more about that in just a little bit. But size doesn't make us similar. What does make us similar? Well, let's see. Our percentage of poverty makes us similar. We have a low percentage. That doesn't mean we don't have poor kids, by the way. We just have a lower percentage of poor kids than a lot of other school districts in Ohio. As you can see, about 6.9% of our population would hit the poverty level. Highest in there, I believe, is Hilliard at 18.3. Next category, the percent of our population that have professional occupations. We have a higher percentage than most, 54.3. The highest is actually Upper Arlington at 63.8. In other words, we have a lot of people that have white-collar jobs in this school district. Median income, that makes us similar. Now, the amazing thing, if you look down median income, of course, median would be if I rated our income from the highest in the district to the lowest in the district. The number that comes out to the middle would be the median. That's $71,000 per family. And if you look down through, we have the highest median income. I'm going to say a little bit more about that in a little bit when I get to the CUP report. Percentage of population with college degrees. Ours continues to move up. We're at about 62%. Highest in the group would be Upper Arlington at 71%. Most all of these districts are at 50% or above as far as their population that has college degrees. I think that says a lot about, one, people move here and what the expectation of the school district really is, and the fact that whether kids are going to go to some type of post-secondary education is not even a conversation in this school district. I have been in school districts, by the way, where the conversation is, well, you know what, it was good enough for me, and therefore it's probably good enough for my kid. And that's just a totally different conversation to have when you're talking about public schools and the future, where kids need to be and what types of jobs they're going to have to get to. You don't have those conversations here, and I think that's driven by the fact that most of our people are college educated, and they have degrees, and they understand the importance and the value of not only a high school diploma, but it used to be you had to graduate high school. Now you have to have some type of post-secondary education, whether that be through a community college, whether that be through a 4-year, whether that be through the military. So we have high expectation, and I think that's due to the fact that a lot of our people are college educated. The other 4 items I'm not going to go over very much because they have a lot to do with population density and agricultural property. This used to be, at one time, you talk about agricultural property, that's all it was. It was farms. We had 1,200 students, all 95 square miles that we still have today, and we had 1,200 students from one building, grades K through 12. We now have, this fall, we have 23 buildings. Our ADM is actually 15,971 as of this past week. We have grown 4 students over the last 3 weeks, so we are well ahead of the negative 58 average across the state of Ohio that decreased last year. So that's our similar district grouping. That's why we're similar, but that's also why we're different.